Freeform drawing is good, but it is always somewhat random, so the absolute precision and control of shape creation in Illustrator comes with the Bezier pen tool. Now, it has many ways of working and many options to create the right points and paths that you need to draw your shape, so let's start out by learning these the easy way, which is by tracing another item. And I don't mean an image like this, but a nice, sharp graphic. Let's go ahead and open, again, another Illustrator file. Come over to your project files, into the Illustrator files folder, and we're going to open this one called Date, and you'll see that we have the 2011 date in here. Go ahead and say Open and Fit in Window. Now, we've got some type here that I've basically created an outline, so I've always found that when showing people how to use Illustrator, the best way to learn the construction of a tool is to trace type. Type has such a mix of different styles, straight lines, curves, corners, that sort of thing, that it really does show you how you can be accurate and construct the most beautiful shapes. That's why I've chosen what we're doing here. Now, to start out, we're going to zoom in on any one of the number ones, because naturally, if we draw one, we can easily copy and paste it to do the second one. So I'm going to come over here and choose the number one on the outside. And we'll make sure that we are viewing our artwork layer, and once again I have a default graphic style that will allow us just to draw with no fill but a black stroke. Now, we do want to make sure at this point that our smart guides are turned off. Naturally, you could trace this object using smart guides. To be honest, it would make it too easy for you. The Bezier tool itself is just a pleasure to construct shapes with, and it's much better when there's no snapping or jumping to align elements. So let's go ahead and turn off our smart guides. So we're working free, if you like, at this point. And as we did a second ago, we're going to go over to the Bezier pen tool. Now, if we click and hold on that, you'll see it also has a multitude of options. We have the basic pen tool, the ability to add anchor points to an existing path, delete them, or convert them. Now, basically, when drawing paths with the Bezier pen tool, we can use corner points or curve points, and this basically would convert from one to the other, but you'll see how to construct these as we go on. All we're going to do is use the basic pen tool. Now, where do we start? Where do we finish? Well, what we'll do is construct a few simple points to start with. We're going to position our cursor in this junction right here under the corner of the one, and simply click and let go, all right? What we've done is created a path. Now, this is very similar to earlier on where we used this tool to show fills and strokes and closed paths and open paths, okay? So you should be familiar with this at this point. So we've created a single point. No path exists right now. What we're going to do is hold down our Shift key to make sure that we draw a straight path, and we'll just click again on the corner over here, all right? So we've now created a straight line segment, and what we've got here are two corner points. There's no curves at all. By clicking, all we do is create a corner point. So once again, let's hold down the Shift key, position ourselves on the corner of the one here on the top left-hand side, click again, and we've now got three corner points. Now, we find a different problem here. I'm just going to scroll down using the spacebar. Here we have a curve, all right, and at the top we have a corner point because we do want to go straight from there and straight on down. So this is where we introduce a curve point. Now, this is done very simply by positioning our cursor here. Now, at this point, we're not going to click. We're going to click and hold. And as we hold, we're going to drag on the right-hand side. Now, don't let go of this cursor at this point. As you drag, you see these handles come out. These are Bezier handles. This allows us to construct a curve, and you can see that on the left-hand side between the 2 points that we've now got, I have the ability to drag this curve around and get it exactly the right shape and size, okay? So drag until you match that point, and then let go, all right? So congratulations, you've just drawn your first Bezier curve. Very cool indeed. Now, if we come over to this point and click, we end up with something that's very strange. We all of a sudden should have gone in a straight line. It didn't happen. Well, every time that you draw a curve that has two handles on it, as every curve does, the next point you draw, its left-hand side is going to be defined by the previous point. And because that point was a curve, we end up with an additional curve that comes down to this one. So let's undo that. Go back to where we were. All you need to do is click on that point to basically cut it in half. What that does is it leaves this side as an existing curve, but now we've got a corner moving on from here. So now if we hold down our Shift key and once again click here, you see we're back to a straight line, all right? So you see how accurate and easy this is once you understand the basic principles. So let's scroll down, come towards the bottom of the shape, because the rest of it is constructed using exactly the same technology. So I'm going to hold down the Shift key and click somewhere down here, and at the same time just drag so we end up with at least a little bit of a curve handle which will smooth our path into here. Now again, we're going to click on this point and then drag to draw another curve. Okay, very nice and easy. Once again, click to chop off that second handle and leave the first one. Now we can hold down the Shift key and click in the bottom corner, in the left-hand corner, and in this corner. We've now rounded off the bottom very nicely. Now we can come up to somewhere around here, roughly parallel to this point, click and drag in an upwards direction and hold down your Shift key. All right, what we're doing is defining a curve using a Shift key. There's no problem there. It just makes sure that our next path that we draw is going to be straight, and then we can come all the way up here and actually close that down. Now we should use the Shift key and align everything because there was no guarantee that this point aligns with this one. But again, this is a construction process. It shows you how the Bezier pen tool works. So if we now just scroll down a little way, let's hit the V key for our main selection tool and deselect. Congratulations, you have just constructed your first shape using the Bezier pen tool.